So the next category of the key partners in the business model, open data business model innovation, is the open data enthusiast. This is a broader spectrum of people I'm covering and then terming as open data enthusiast. This includes the students. They could be from schools or from colleges or from universities. They could be academics where they do a lot of research in universities or also an independent researcher, and also the professionals who work in some kind of a knowledge-based industry where they're more interested in open data and actually using open data. This could be a part of a citizen data scientist, or it could be just citizens who are keen on exploring open data in the whole. They're very important partners in the open data program. The reason being they actually use open data for research and development. More importantly, the academics and students, they're very involved in research, using the open data to actually come up with some policy implications, or trying to do some research in terms of how we can actually innovate using open data. Or they could be doing a lot of simulations and also coming up with some new artificial intelligence model, trying to help the public sector agencies in streamlining or optimizing some service delivery. So they're very passionate about doing research. The key focus for open data enthusiasts is research, and in addition to that, they really want to showcase their skills. They want to showcase to the world what they are capable of. The reason being, they have a lot of expertise in their hand. They have a lot of tools in their back pocket, but what they're actually missing is the data. So the public sector agency, if they can actually provide a lot more granular data, which all these open data enthusiasts can actually use in a privacy centric way, then it is hugely beneficial for research and also for future skill building capabilities. The next key partners for the open data innovation program is your app developers. They are your hardcore programmers. So they take the data, they program with the latest front end and back end technologies, and they're using data on the tools to solve the real world problems that the customers or the citizens actually facing. Open data can actually fuel a lot of those innovation activities. The reason being, most of the consumer based markets are constrained because there's no available data, and some of the data collected by the governments is pretty much held in a regulatory or a compliance framework. But having said that, if the government is willing to open the data, these app developers can actually thrive on the data. They can actually build so many applications for helping the business to comply with local legislations or regulation, or even use the data combined with other sets of data they have got, and then they can actually sell some data products, or they can actually build some new innovative products on top of that. It's just using open data. Open data could be one of those enablers for this app developer community. Again, if you partner with this app developer community, the main focus should be on economic activity and then innovation. Moving on, the other is the map providers, and they're also come under a part of our app developer ecosystem. But having said that, map providers differs in few categories. They could be platform providers. They cannot be just a map provider. They could be a part of a big platform, or they could be a map vendors. In this case, they just use geospatial data and then try and build some geospatial products. This again stimulates a lot of economic activity. Many government agencies around the world, they release a lot of geospatial data. If they stick with a good standard practice, and if they could release the data in a good data model, all these platform providers and map vendors, they can actually ingest the data as is without doing any heavy lifting on the back end, and then they can actually make it available in their platform. That can help the consumers. A good example is, let's say there's a lot of curbs, roads data, crosswalk, streetlights data. This can be released as geospatial open data. And if you look at the major platform providers like Google, Apple, and here, TomTom, they can actually ingest the data through which they can give that data and then put some amazing user interface on the top and help all the citizens comply with road traffic rules and to reduce accidents as such. To give you a perfect example, all the road signs have all the roads have speed limit, and this data can also be released so that your car or your GPS can actually know where what's the speed limit for each roads and where the curbs are, where they need to turn, and stuff like that. This is a gold mine for autonomous vehicle in terms of geospatial data. The next category, which is often missed in most of the open data program, is the public sector agencies do not have much focus on startups because startups, as by definition, they're actually trying out build new products and solutions. But having said that, the underlying business model has a lot of risk. It's never been tried out. That's why it's called startup. And if you look at it, startups, they mainly focused, most of the startups are in the incubation center or also in some kind of a business kind of an environment where they actually thrive on a lot of business problems. And that's often neglected because it's hard to get into that kind of environment because it's fast paced and they don't have time to actually entertain people who actually waste time. Having said that, the public sector agency have to build a value proposition for startups to actually use the data for their own inside their own products or services, which actually helps to streamline some of the economic activities or even in fact increases some of the activities.